How do you do, G-Pot crew? It's your Naughty Buddy Putty here, and finally, we are doing the video I said I was going to do on July 26th, 2024. Yes, I went and saw Deadpool and Wolverine in all three theaters, made an event out of it, and also made sure to collect all of the popcorn buckets. So for those that don't know, I love popcorn buckets. It's become a bad obsession, so much so that I decided, you know what, we need to curb this. We need to stop collecting the buckets. But if we're going to go and stop collecting buckets, which I have done, and I haven't gotten a lot of them, like the Venom one, I'm not going to get to that. But if I'm going to stop it with the movie you've been anticipating for over almost 2 years now. And that is Deadpool and Wolverine. So the way we're going to start this off is I'm going to do my top 6. Now, what do I mean by top 6? Each theater made 2 different special buckets for the theater. And then they made regular buckets. The 2 buckets for each one are going to be in the top 6, and I'll say which theater they come from as we go along. But what I'm going to do first is some honorable mentions. In the honorable mentions, we're going to have the cups. So that's going to be the first thing that's going to be in the video, is the cups that are that you get at the movie theaters when you go see it. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say this is a late video. Well, I've never had the time to actually shoot it, and I do have the time now, and I thought this is the perfect time to save this for when Deadpool and Wolverine are being released on digital and Blu-ray and DVD. And yes, they are being released on digital and Blu-ray DVD. Digital is coming out October 1st, and then the Blu-ray and DVD are coming out October 22nd. And you know your boy Putty's going to get those. But with that being said, this is how I wanted to send off my love of this movie, by doing the popcorn bucket top 6 as well as the honorable mentions. So as I stated, the honorable mentions are going to be the cups first. But I also want to go ahead and put in perspective that I'm missing 2 cups. I looked online how much they are. I'm going to show them on the screen when we get to those. But first, we're going to go into the actual cups that you get from different theaters. So with that being said, let me give you a little example of what I mean. So as you see here, here are the cups that they came with. And this is going to be honorable mentions, as well as a few buckets that will be honorable mentions. I'm going to tell you what's missing as well. So anything that is missing, I will explain and put a picture on the screen if I can find a picture. All right. So first cup we have is just a generic cup you see right here that has Wolverine and Deadpool. Now, there is a popcorn bucket that's involved with this as well, that I'm going to get to later. But this one, I think, actually, the only thing, I got this one at Cinemark, not Regal. So this one I got from Cinemark. This was the one I drank the liquid out of, because then they had 3 other cups, which we're actually about to go to in right now. So this one is probably my least favorite. That's why it's the lowest in the honorable mention. It looks cool. It has some cool looks to it, but it definitely is just a honorable mention in my eyes. Next is going to be the other cup they had at Cinemark. Now this one's a clear cup. You can't really see it too well in the camera, but I like the art style that's on this. It looks really cool, and I like that they made this specially. It looks very comic bookish to me, and I think it looks really good. So that ended up being something I was proud to get. It has its own special lid for it. So you can see it's got the clear crisp, and I don't think, oh yeah, that's right. This is the one that lights up. So see, that's why it's also special, is you get a light up cup in the middle of it as well. So that's extra special in that one. Cinemark theaters, they also did extra ones. So putting these 2 aside, we have these bad boys. So these are probably my favorites. I have the Into the Spider-Verse ones of these. And then I have another one. I can't remember what other movie that it is that I have these for. But these are very special cups. So the reason these are special is because when you open them up to the top, the drink goes in like that, and then inside the head, and then the straw goes into that part of the cup. So you just put your drink in there and do that. Now, of course, I didn't put any drinks in it. I told them I didn't want to. These are for collector's reasons. But like, what's so great about these is because of their look. If you, which I will do a review of these type of cups. I have some for other movies, like I said, Into the Spider-Verse, and another movie I can't even think of at the moment. But I'll do a comparison with those so you can see how they all fit together, and they all are a stylized, exact shape, exact thing. So it's like you have your own Marvel universe of characters, even from the Sony Spider-Verse to this, and that's amazing. Then finally, you have the lenticular cups. So these cups actually come from Regal Cinema, and so they're those lenticular cups that kind of change as you see in the camera. Oh, and I'm glad it works in the camera. So you'll see they're lenticular, but they're the same on both ends, as you see, the same. But the reason I have these 2 is because I ended up getting one for myself, which I ended up getting the Deadpool one. But then one of my friends went to the IMAX and got me the second cup, because I already had the popcorn bucket that he grabbed for me, or he was going to grab for me, and said, did you want anything else? And I said, get me the Wolverine topper one, if you don't mind. And he did, because it's a long story, but he was planning on taking me, but then, you know, a girl came along, and it's okay. Anyway, so to repay me, he said, I'll get you a popcorn bucket and a cup. And I said, well, I have the popcorn bucket because I didn't know it was the same one as Regal. So Regal and IMAX apparently are the same company. So I decided that just get me the Wolverine one so I can complete my collection, which now I have both of them in seats, which these seats are going to come in handy later on when we do the top 6, because there's a popcorn bucket that matches these same seats that you see here. And when we get into that, it's going to be another character in Deadpool and Wolverine. So we're going to get into that in a little bit. But we're not done with the honorable mentions. Now, before I get into the honorable mentions of the popcorn buckets, I told you guys that I did not get 2, and that is the AMC cups. So I'm going to show them on the screen right now. I did not get these. I've looked online, and the prices are so high. I don't know what they are right now, but I know for a fact they are extremely, extremely high, and I'm not going to pay for that price. So unfortunately, those are not in my collection, but I'm okay with that because of the popcorn bucket situation, because I also have a popcorn bucket I'm missing. So when I went to Cinemark, they were giving away 4 buckets altogether. 2 metal ones, and then 2 special ones. Now I have the 2 special ones. I will show those to you when we get to them. But the 2 of the metal ones are this one right here that shows Wolverine and Deadpool, and then the other bucket is actually the same design as the cup you see here. So it has that, but it has the dancing, or what do you want to call it, the movement, like right here, the encore Deadpool. So the bucket looks just like this, but it's just bigger. And then of course they had this bucket. So I didn't get the second bucket because I figured, well, maybe when I come back, because I was coming back with some friends, I'll get this bucket, the other bucket, because I figured they should have some of these left since they have the other popcorn buckets. But no, I was wrong. It's gone. And that's okay, because these aren't the major fancy ones like the other ones, and so that's okay. But then it comes to Regal and IMAX, as I told you before. They had their own popcorn buckets. They had two special ones, which I have both of those, and then a metal one. Now the metal one is the big one that you see right here, and this one shows their claws and everything going together, okay, which I think is really cool. But what makes this one extra special than any other of the popcorn buckets is that this, I'll place right here, comes with its own lid, as you can see right here. And so you fasten that on there, and it looks like the blades of Wolverine, and it's indented too. This isn't all indented, but it looks like the blades of Wolverine are going straight through Deadpool's face. And this was actually the original logo for Deadpool Wolverine, but they just called it Deadpool 3 at the time, with 3 slashes. Of course, they ended up changing it to Deadpool Wolverine. But yeah, that's this is the other Regal bucket, and they were giving this in IMAX. He said he got it for me, but then when I realized I already have it, I told him, you can keep that one. Just give me the Wolverine topper cup that you saw earlier in the video. So with that being said, these are all my honorable mentions when it comes to the popcorn buckets. But now, guys, now it's time for the actual buckets. So I hope you guys are ready for that. Alright, so coming in at number 6 is a popcorn bucket that actually looks really cool, but I put it at number 6 because it had nothing to do with Deadpool and Wolverine. You might be saying, how would they sell you a popcorn bucket that's not related to Deadpool and Wolverine? Well, I will show you guys. That popcorn bucket is the Taxicab popcorn bucket. So if you see here, they did the Taxicab from Deadpool 1 and 2, which is really great. And the popcorn actually comes in the top here, as you see here, right where Deadpool's sitting. Now you might be wondering, why would you put that at number 6 of your top popcorn buckets? Is because of one reason. It has nothing to do with Deadpool and Wolverine. Now here's the thing, it says Deadpool and Wolverine on the side there, you see it? Right there on the door. But where was his cab? His cab was nowhere to be seen in the movie. Nowhere. So that's the reason why I feel this deserves the number 6 spot when it comes to the Deadpool Wolverine popcorn buckets. Still thinking about Funko Pops. Anyway, with that being said, let's move on to number 5. Now we come to number 5. Now before I go, I forgot to mention the Taxicab that you just saw actually comes from Cinemark theaters. I forgot to mention all the ones that they come from. Now we're at and that was the first popcorn bucket for Cinemark. I'm going to go into the first popcorn bucket for Regal Theaters. So this is the popcorn bucket for Regal Theaters. It is just a regular popcorn bucket, but what makes it great is you have Deadpool right here kind of going shh to the screen because he's hiding. Who is he hiding from? Oh, well, gee willikers. It's Wolverine back here slicing the bucket. So if you look, it looks like he's slashing the side of the bucket right here on these slashes. And this is probably my favorite, my second favorite that came from Regal. This one came from Regal Theaters. It's it's like it's got its own little action figures on it and everything, as you can see here. I think it's pretty cool, and I think that this deserves the number 5 spot on my top 6 popcorn buckets. I'm gonna move these cups out of the way, and we'll go on to number 4. Okay. For number 4, I'm going to get a lot of hate for this one. And understand, it's not that I don't like it. It's just the memes on this went so bad. And everyone has put it at their number 1 spot. And actually, for me, it's going to be number 4, to be honest with you guys. And don't hate me on this. I have my reason for it. And you'll see why later with the buckets. So for number 4 is going to be the Wolverine mouth bucket, the one you stick your hand in to get the popcorn. Now, I will admit, this is a great bucket. I like how it's designed. On the front of it, it says designed by Deadpool, and then on the bottom there it says can also be used for popcorn, if you get the joke of it. And then on the back it just says Deadpool and Wolverine. Now again, I know I'm going to get a lot of slack from people saying, well, that should be number 1, that should be number 1. And I understand that the memes kind of got inflated, but here's my thing when it comes to popcorn bucket design. When you're making a popcorn bucket, you can be funny, especially with the memes and Deadpool and all that kind of stuff. But I also want something that is, when you put it on a shelf, it stands out and actually doesn't look like a popcorn bucket. And that's the thing. This looks like a popcorn bucket. When I sit on the shelf like this, you clearly know it's a popcorn bucket, okay? And I understand, these are popcorn buckets. You want them to look like popcorn buckets. But as they made more popcorn buckets, I'm like, the more unique they are to not look like a bucket, the more I love them, because then they bring out something special about them. And so I feel like this would be the number 4 on my list of buckets. Now, this one comes from AMC, so we already went through one Regal, we went through the Cinemark one, which was the Taxicab. We went through the Regal one, which was the 2 characters, and AMC. So now we have our top 10 list of the actual each theater. They all have a spot in the top 3. And this one right here comes in at number 4, which is the favorite of the least favorites. So Regal won that one. And honestly, Regal almost got both of them as the top 3s of 6s, I guess you can say, because I do like the other Regal Theater one, but honestly, the other Regal Theater one got number 2. And if you know what it is, then I'm kind of spoiler alert for you. If you don't know, we'll get to it when we get there. So with that being said, let's get to number 3. Now, number 3 is the second Cinemark bucket. So if you remember, the first one was the Taxicab. This is number 3, and this is Wolverine's mask. Now, this is the reason why this beats out the Regal or the AMC one with the mouth open is this is a genuine Wolverine mask. Now, the way this one opens up is that you actually take it and open it up from the back here, or actually is the front. Yes, the front. Sorry, and you put the popcorn in there. Now, I know that's not unique to the thing as far as, oh, it's in his head, but this is such a nice piece that whenever I'm able to put these on the shelves, it's going to stand out so much. People are going to see this and go, oh, that's cool. That's amazing. That's awesome. And that's why it's number 3. And again, this one came from Cinemark. So unfortunately, Cinemark, you don't get anywhere on the top 3 list except at number 3. So at least you get in the top 3. You just don't get the top 2. With that being said, let's move on to number 2. And number 2 is the Babypool bucket. So this one actually came from Regal Cinemas. It is the Deadpool or Babypool in the seat. Now, if you remember, I showed you the AMC cups, and I showed you how they had that little things where they were sitting in seats. This matches their seat cosmetics. So if you look at this and then look at these, you'll see they match up with it. And that is a nice little signature. But what makes this bucket so special is this. So with him, there's 2 features to it. First off, I'm going to bring it up here, and I'm going to show you guys the back of it. So the first thing is this. This is the drink container. So you'll see the little hole here. The straw for the drink goes up in here. So you have your drink in there. Then as far as the drink, the top part pops off, which I think there's a release. Yeah, there's a release too on the side. And boom. And so this becomes your drink container that you can fill up without getting this any wet. Fill up your drink container, put your straw in it, put it around the back, and you sit there and just sip with it. And then, well, here's the great thing. And again, this is why it ended up being my number 2 bucket, is that if you turn them around, the popcorn goes right there. Which actually, oh, look at that. What do we have here? Oh, my limited edition IMAX cards from the IMAX movie that my friend went to see. So he gave me the cards as also a complimentary, saying, hey, at least you have the IMAX cards. And I decided to put them back here with good old Babypool. But yeah, you put your popcorn there, you have your drink there. So all you have to do is this: you turn around, sip on your drink, eat your popcorn, and he sits right on your lap. Such a great little idea. Yum yum popcorn. Like, I'll even do it up here. Yum yum popcorn sip. Yum yum popcorn sip. No one even knows it. It's just concealing it. And that is the reason why Babypool makes number 2 on my Deadpool buckets list. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my number 1 bucket. So this character in the Deadpool comics is one of my favorites. And when it comes to authenticity to a popcorn bucket, I keep saying Funko, to a popcorn bucket, this one is just, it takes the cake when it comes to uniqueness. Whenever I look at a popcorn bucket, I'm like, can you make it so accurate that it feels like it's not even a popcorn bucket? It's literally its own thing. It's like its own thing. And so the Babypool, the reason it got number 2 is because it's a baby in your hands. It's in the seat. But I can't take the baby off the seat. This popcorn bucket was number 1 for me because it was just the coolest one ever. It is now my favorite one, and it is one of my favorite Deadpool variants. Ladies and gentlemen, my number 1 is the Headpool bucket. So I'm going to show you guys a few features on this. So first off, the popcorn actually comes in the top here, but what's great is what's stored inside. So if you take out these, you get 2 pieces. First off, the propeller. The propeller goes right up here, snaps in place. Right there, perfect. Snaps in place, and it spins. Then the other great thing is it comes with its own stand. This, don't get blurry on me, this is not your traditional popcorn bucket. Of course, it still opens up the top where his head is, Headpool, but then he has his own stand. Look at that, his own stand that stands up and makes it look like he's just standing there floating in midair. I wish I can give you guys a good example. So look in the other camera and you'll see it. It just floats in midair. Look at that. And what makes it so great too is they added the leather texture to the mask to give it flimsiness, and the jaw moves. This is how you make one. Even the eyes, you look at the eyes, they even made them the clear eyes into it. I mean, honestly, I understand why people love the Wolverine bucket that you put your hand in, but this is a unique bucket. It looks just like Headpool. Same size head too. Literally, look, it's around the same size. So look, it's literally the same size as a human normal head. And it's a popcorn bucket. And then, of course, the propeller spins on the top. Everything about this bucket is just... I feel like it deserves the top spot as my number 1 Deadpool and Wolverine popcorn bucket. But you tell me in the comments below which one you think is best. With that being said, let's recap. Oh, you can't see me here. That's fine. Anyway, guys, to recap, at number 6, we have the Taxicab. Again, I don't think the Taxicab was a great idea, especially since this is Deadpool and Wolverine and we didn't get the Taxicab. Number 2 goes to the 2-tiered. Now, again, I still love these, and I love the Wolverine on the back, but again, I feel like, you know, it wasn't the best one, but it was a great idea. And then because of the memes, this becomes number 3. I do like this one. I do think it's funny. I think it has a lot of humor behind it and everything, especially with the mouth and everything. But again, just shy of the top 3 spot. Then, of course, we have our top 3 buckets over here. So at number 3 was the Wolverine one that came from Cinemark. I love it to death. I think it's a great centerpiece. I mean, looking at these right now, can you tell me I'm wrong? They look visually stunning, and they don't even look like popcorn buckets. They look like actual items that would be on your shelf. Then, of course, at number 2, coming from Regal, would be the Babypool bucket with the chair and the popcorn bucket in the back, the sippy cup in the front, or sippy cup on top, I should say. And then number 1, Headpool from AMC Theaters. Again, I think these are the best 3, but I want you to tell me in the comments below, which bucket do you think is the best? I can't wait to hear. As always, I'm Putty with G-Pot Crew, and you know what we do. We do videos about popcorn buckets and other things too. I'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure you go out there and purchase Deadpool and Wolverine now on Blu-ray and DVD, or on digital. Digital, October 1st, Blu-ray and DVD, October 22nd. I'll see y'all later. Peace.